Architectural Builder's Supply is pleased to present you with this recording of the technical question that is listed in the title of this video.
This call may be monitored and recorded for quality assurance.
Awesome. So what would you like to tackle?
So, I had a few notes, and then the customer asked me something, and I figured I'd actually address something that the customer asked. So I have a bypass door lock. I actually have an order number I could reference, or just the part number. That's a Knape and Vogt, or Vogt. And the customer is curious if those are if it's possible to have those rekeyed. Why or why not? And if there is one that's possible to be rekeyed, if it's not. So I have a part number of PB1068. I could also reference the order number.
Yeah. So what happened? The short answer is no, and it's because of the way that they're manufactured, meaning they're put together and assembled. So the problem is, they're riveted together or peened together, some method of assembly that can't be disassembled. The interior construction of that lock would be a disc tumbler. So there's lever tumbler, there's disc tumbler, and then there's pin tumbler. And pin tumbler is the modern cylinder, even though that's it's Egyptian technology from 4,000 years ago. Oh, wow. But the pin tumbler is considered, our modern technology, even though it's a patent from about 1860 by Linus Yale Jr. Now, the wafer tumbler is basically a rectangular piece of metal that's maybe 3/8 wide and 5/8 tall, and it's punched or cut out in a particular way on the inside and on its outside profile, so that when the key is pushed, the key is milled. When you look at the side of your key, it has grooves in it. That's milling. Well, think of that as the male component. Now, the cylinder plug is the female component. That's broached. So the milling on the key and the broaching on the plug have to be compatible, otherwise the key won't enter, which is why the ignition key of your car won't go into the front door of your house, because the broaching and milling are not compatible. Now, when the key goes into a wafer tumbler lock, the cutouts on the interior of the disc or wafer tumbler ride along the cuts on the key, because those disc tumblers are spring biased. When you stick something in there, you can lift it. When you take the paper clip out, it'll fall back down. Well, that's what the key does. And when each of those are raised to the proper height, the key will turn. The bottom line is that's exceptionally low security. It would be easy for someone like me to even probably pick that open, and I have, because it's very low security.
Okay.
But the bottom line is, even though it's simple technology, it's not rekeyable, because it can't be taken apart. If you could take it apart and you had different keys or blanks that you could cut, and the different disc or wafer tumblers, because the size and location of those cuts on, or of those punched stampings on the interior aspect of the disc tumbler are all different. They're all 3/8 by 5/8, but the height of the cutout inside of this thin plate, which might be, 60 thousandths thick, is directly related to the depth of the cut of the key. So you'd have to have these extra parts as well in order to do the work. You'd have to have basically the pin kit and the key blanks if you could take it apart to do it. Now, because it's not rekeyable, your customer may be satisfied with the fact that you can get them either all keyed alike or they're all keyed differently, as you know. Now the question becomes, is there something that can be done? And is there something that can be done? That's an interesting idea. Nothing comes
for that price point, probably not, especially for that price point, because you're going to be a different type of lock altogether.
No, in the world that we deal in, there is no budget. We deal in imaginary, monopoly money.
Right.
So getting to a point where something can be rekeyed, I mean, I can fathom how you could do it. You could have, like, the Adams Wright 4400 series or the 4190 series, the sliding door locks that are on the boat doors.
Right.
You'd need one in each panel, but you can rekey those. So you could lock one door or lock the other or lock them both. So that would be an idea because it would hook into the jamb.
Right.
But the way that this lock works is it mounts towards the center, and when you rotate the key as if it was a knob, it makes the tailpiece come out from 0 degree out to 90 degree. It articulates out. Articulates not the right word. It just comes out. It just comes up from vertical to horizontal, preventing or blocking the doors from sliding past each other.
That's on the Adams Wright or the original that we were talking about?
The original, the Knape and Vogt.
Okay.
I suppose, depending on the thickness of the door, you may be able to take that lock body and orient it so that it grabs onto the back of the face of the leading door, of the outside door, and hook it into the face of the inactive door. But I don't see how that would really work. It really wouldn't work. The only thing coming to mind is something that you'd install in each door. A hook bolt is what it would be. That you can key. The issue with that, however, is you're not going to get really good. You are going to, because you'll have hardware installed on the face of the rear door, you won't be able to slide it as far open as you once could because now you have hardware hanging off. This is bypass. So literally think of the bedroom that you grew up in. I mean, that's exactly what this is, right? So these references to our real life experience, this is how we connect the dots, or at least how I do. So I think about that door in my bedroom as a child.
So help me visualize that because, I had a regular swinging door. Are we talking about like the closet doors that slide? Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Bypass doors would be generally 2 doors, sometimes 3 doors. And there are tracks up at the top, and you'd need at least 2 tracks. You'd always need 2 tracks for bypass. One door hangs off the front track, and the second door hangs off the rear track. And because they're not on the same plane, they can slide past each other. Now, sometimes you could do a third door as well, and then you would need 3 tracks. If you wanted to gain maximum usable opening space, you would use 3 tracks and slide them all to one side. But generally in a 3-door bypass, like if you had a 6-foot wide opening, you could do, 3 doors rather than 2. 2 doors would be on one track, and then the 1 door would be on the rear track. But you don't pick up. You only have 1/3 theoretically of usable space.
Right. Okay.
This is probably an owner's closet in an Airbnb. Is probably what it is, or it's someone trying to keep their teenager from getting to the vodka. That sounds like a joke, but it's not.
This guy, his door works, and he ordered 16 of them overnight for 2-day air. So it's not like a one-off. It's a door company.
Oh, yeah.
FYI.
Yeah. Well, I did see the order or the quote. I'm not sure which it was.
Okay. Yeah.
So in terms of rekeying, making them keyable, the only thing that comes to mind would be a hook bolt mortised into the leading edge of each door that would hook into the jamb. You would have a cylinder installed, but you're going to severely limit. You're not going to severely limit how much usable opening space, but you would have to lock and unlock each door independently. And that would be, if you looked up Adams Wright 5017 and you got to an Adams Wright, open up the Adams Wright catalog and looked for that, and then you'll see in the Adams Wright catalog, I'll race you. 5017. So, yeah, you could mortise that. Well, we'd have to use, what will we have to do? Yeah, you could. So, when you look up the 5017...
I'm looking at it.
Yeah, so you've got the lock body visualized there. You can see you'll have a blank plate on the inside and then a thumb turn on the outside. Well, for that, you would swap out that thumb turn for the 4024, and that's on page 177. You would do an idea like that. Yeah, you could do an idea like the 4024. You could definitely rekey those because we could take the cylinders apart. But again, you've got that hardware projecting off the face of the door, so depending on what the back set is of the 5017, which I can just tell you what it is because we can look at the template. It's 1 1/4. So your back set is 1 1/4, and then you're gonna lose the 1 1/4 plus half of the thickness or half of the width of the 4024. So you're gonna lose every bit of 1 3/4 usable space because when you install that on the rear door and you try to slide it open, the edge of the lock body on the 4024 is going to hit the edge of the other door. So yeah, I mean, it would work. You could even make these self-preserving in the sense that they make a version of that when you just slide the door closed. The hook fails, goes down, and then snaps back up. And you see these 5717s every time you sell one of those 44 or those 4190s. I know that people have called. It's the same lock body. Now, I know people have called and said, I have a boat and I need a lock body. And you're thinking, we don't sell boat parts. Well, it turns out the 4190, which is on page 76, 77, I mean, that's what you're dealing with. And for that matter, look at page 176 and 77. Now, what's nice, that would very likely work in the sense that the projection off the face of that trim on the exterior trim is really slight. It only is going to hang off the edge of the door a small amount, so they could literally mortise that door like that. But again, you're still in the problem of needing to put one on each door.
Right.
It would give you more usable space, and plus, when you have bypass, you can take 2 single tracks and you can space them. So you can move back the one track because bypass can be a single track where there are 2 J sort of features on them or 2 box channels. You want to look in the Knape and Vogt catalog. They're not their core catalog, the sliding door catalog, and just get into the BYP section and look at the cross section of the track, and it will make sense. So yeah, you could do a 4190 concept, but again, one on each door, and it's very likely that I'm going to have a better idea later, but off the top of my head, this is all I got.
Okay. Well, that's good. And your customer was really happy with us, so figured I'd provide a little more info and make him even happier and come back to us. So this is all good info. It's kind of funny, though. You're talking, and there was a moment where I went to pause the YouTube video because I'm so used to listening to you on the YouTube videos.
Well, what we'll do is we'll turn this into a YouTube video as well, and keep a running list of technical questions, and let's just keep doing this weekly.
Absolutely. I love it.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you so much, Rich. Appreciate you.
Bye.
All right, bye.
Architectural Builders Supply hopes you have enjoyed this program. If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video. So the prior conversation is certainly not unusual. Someone wants to key locks for bypassing doors in a particular fashion where key to like or key differently doesn't suit the requirements. Maybe they want level 2 or master keying. Who knows what it could be, but let's move on and let's dissect that conversation as best we can. If you've not hit subscribe yet, we would very much appreciate if you did, and hopefully you're enjoying this video. Now, let's get back to it. So we certainly started talking about the PB1068 by Knape and Vogt. This is a bypassing door lock, and basically what I had mentioned earlier is when this is installed and you use the key basically as a handle and you rotate it clockwise, it drives this tang down and it articulates, well, again, articulates not the right word, but it moves, preventing the sliding of, here it is in the unlocked position, that's it in the locked position. There you go. You can kind of see the gear that's there. And there, oh, there's a good back side of it. So what happens is in your application, if you look at the installation instructions, so what we've got here is bypass, right? Here's bypass. Okay. So that lock basically goes here. And when you rotate the key, it flips down and extends out like this, preventing this from moving. Okay, so the bottom line is I had indicated that this lock cannot be taken apart and serviced, and I went on and on about why it couldn't. Let's take a closer look at the lock and figure out why it can't be. If you've made it this far into this video, you must be determined to see it through to the end, and we appreciate your hanging in there with us and watching this entire video. It means a lot. It takes a lot of work to create these videos in the sense that, you know, it's time taken away from doing other things. However, the advantage for me personally of creating these videos is the fact that it does allow myself to either learn about something new, to reacquaint myself with something, or to reinforce what I believe that I already know. Any comments that you might leave down below would be greatly appreciated. Thank you. Yeah, let's take a look. I mean, I've never tried to take one of these apart. For all I know, it can be, but okay. All right. So, you know, there's a cylinder inside of here, and you can kind of see it really darkened in the back. There's a cam on there that is like a gear. Well, it has teeth on it, and as that rotates, it forces the gear on the tailpiece to fall down because the gears are intermeshed at a 90-degree angle. Milling on the key I mentioned. Broaching in the cylinder plug I mentioned. Key goes in. The height, or I should say the depth of the cuts directly relates to moving, yeah, you can even see it. In the broaching, you see that gold flat part that's recessed back there? That's the front of the first wafer tumbler or disc tumbler. There are 4 of them. There may be 5 of them in there. There are 5 cuts on this key. There could be 2 or 3, whatever it is. And I'll show you what those cuts look like, but it's clear that there's some sort of a machined pin here and some sort of a one-way process here. Is it possible to drill that out? Is it possible to try to get something back there that allows us to pull that out? I suppose it's possible. It would not be a mystery that I am so compelled to solve that I need to get out my drill. So disc tumblers are, as I said at length, a typical type of tumbler that you'll see in lock sets, and it's used generally in very low security lock applications like a bifold door lock. Let's switch back to the screen view and let's continue on taking a closer look at everything. Regarding the links to ads that you might see in this video, we do apologize for any interruption to a smooth viewing experience. And hopefully the ads that are being presented to you are related to the base product. And if there is something, feel free to click on those and perhaps consider taking a look at what that other advertiser is promoting. Let's get back to the video. Okay, so a wafer is going to kind of look like this. and it's going to have a cut. This is where the spring resides, right in here, and it keeps it pushed down, and as the key enters, it forces that to ride up and down based on how the key strikes the inside prep. Well, let's look at so the only difference between A, B, and C is where the cut is from the top. Okay, you can see they're in different positions. This could be a 1, this could be a 2, this could be a 3. You get the concept. The location of those on the wafer tumbler is directly related to the depth of the cut on the key. It might be that this is a very deep cut. This could be a very narrow cut, is the bottom line, or a shallow cut.
Bought a bank that was
So,
across the
history of
street from their accounting
locksmithing
department.
aside,
So
that's just
why
kind
there's
of
one
what
of
we're
those
dealing
on there.
with. So, we've basically
and,
established that the lock cannot
You know, of course,
be
it's a
serviced.
concrete
Now,
filled
what I
frame
would
because it's a
be,
bank, and,
what I,
you know, that's why.
and I still haven't
That's
come up
why
with
it's
a
killing me. I was like,
better
you can't make
idea,
this easy? Okay.
but I had mentioned the 5017
So, I mean, you
to the
could
person I was
look at
speaking
the,
to.
You know, it's Alarm Lock's DL1200
as an idea,
that's the
and let's pull up the
DL1200.
catalog,
It's not,
and then
that
we'll
is not listed.
do a find function
sorry,
on our
do they
keyboard for
already have the exit, meaning it
5017,
was
and then I'll
existing?
show you what I had in mind with
Yeah,
this.
it's existing.
So this is
it
a
was an
lock
emergency
used
or
in
just
sliding
an
lock,
alternate
sliding door
exit,
locks,
and so it's
primarily
it's
residential.
in perfect shape. Hasn't
The
been
backing
used.
plate. This is a thumb turn. Okay, so I had
Yeah,
also
so what
mentioned
you
the
gotta do is,
4025.
No matter what product you look at, you
cylinder.
have to make sure that it's compatible with the device that you're using.
Right.
That's super important.
There it is.
You're probably going to be looking
you get the
at
idea.
something
That's going to
more
mount
like,
onto the door.
You know, it's just called trilogy.
As I had said
actually,
earlier about
they call it.
self-protecting, you could just
That
slide
is
that door closed and this will
compatible with a
collapse and
99,
relock.
98, 99
So
series.
what's going to happen is
PL. You know, an alarm lock is good.
You're
very
going
good.
to have
Their tech support people are really, really good. They're very active in the locksmithing community. Very active. And I would be hard
your two
pressed
doors.
to say
One
go
goes
with
this
another
way, the other
company
goes this way.
for a
You
particular
got that
reason.
concept. Now back to this.
Very good. Yeah, and I was looking at the
Actually,
CO
let's do
100
like
display
this.
too, but like I said, like you said, the price point is just about the same. So
Yeah,
Okay.
that's going to be more expensive.
One of those
What I
locks
don't
is going to
like
have
about
to go here,
Schlage
and this is your jam,
is,
by
you know,
the way.
that thing from Alarm Lock
The other
hasn't
lock's
changed
gonna
in
have to
years.
go here.
Schlage seems to re-engineer
and
everything
hook into the
every
jam.
so many
So
years. And
you're going to have a lock body that hangs off here. Well, that's okay. It'll slide all the way. That lock body is going to hang here, and it's only going to slide so far as until it hits
Right.
that. Well, I should say,
that would
this
be a
door will go all the way
alarm
until
lock.
it hits that lock body.
right. Yeah. Well, hey, listen.
Inelegant,
thank you so
yes.
much. I really
Will it
appreciate your
work?
time
It would.
and your
You'd have
input
to
on
lock
this.
and unlock both doors
And I watch your
independently. In
videos all the
fact,
time. I
that might be okay.
Thank you enough
might
for
not need
being
to
a guy
have
that
locked
does that.
access to
I
both sides.
absolutely love
You
it.
might just lock one side
Thank
and
you
leave
very
it
much,
and only
Reporter.
operate one side.
Very good.
So,
hey, you have a great day, and I'll
cumbersome,
talk to you guys
yes,
another time.
cumbersome.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye.
All right,
But
bye-bye.
it would work. Now, they also make... Adams Wright also has something that's going to be a lot more robust. And I forever forget that part number of their sliding door lock. Oh. Yeah, here it is, 2331. Now this is neat because you can slide it in place and then rotate the cylinder. And these two little prongs will pop up and grab the inside of the strike. So that would work as well. And what's nice about this is you should be able to reduce the projection of the cylinder to such an extent that you might be able to skirt the door over the top of it. So what I'm saying is that cylinder would only project out a small amount and it might fit back here. So that could be a way to go. But the person I was speaking to mentioned cost. Yeah, I mean, everything I'm talking about here is an order of magnitude more expensive than a PB1068. So, just an idea. If I come up with a better one, I will amend this video is what I'll do. Let's wrap it up on camera. If you have any suggestions how to better lock a pair of bypass doors and do so in such a way that you can have very flexible keying options, maybe high security cylinders, just the ability to key in level 2, maybe level 3, modular designs where you're not relegated to a particular part that can't be swapped out and changed, please feel free to reach out to us and let us know. Thank you very much. Again, thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up, please subscribe, and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.